Hello humans, welcome back to my makeup room. My name is Martha if you've never been here before, and I post makeup related videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. If that's something that interests you and you like what you're watching, please subscribe. Today we're going to talk about my Sephora $1,000 fantasy cart. I believe this was started by Emily Noel, and 7 million people have done it since, and I'm going to be one of them. So let's dive right in. The absolute first thing I wanted to put into my cart was the Bobbi Brown Vitamin-Enriched Face Base. I really love that primer, and it's hella expensive. It's 80 Canadian dollars, which is a good chunk of cash for a primer slash moisturizer. So I made the executive decision to put it in my cart. And of course, what would be a fantasy cart without a very expensive eyeshadow palette? Pat McGrath. I decided to put in the Mothership 7, the Divine Rose, because if I'm gonna get a Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, I figure I want it to be a neutral eyeshadow palette, something I can just slap on when I'm going to work or something I don't have to think too hard about. Because when you're paying $200 for an eyeshadow palette, it should do the thinking for you. So I didn't really want to go in with one of the ones where it has like a pop of color. I like the neutral kind of rosy tones that are going on in this one. And the mattes are more cool toned, which is definitely something I prefer. The next no-brainers that went into my cart were the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, something I've been wanting to try for a while. The Marc Jacobs Enamored Hydrating Lip Gloss Stick in Mocha Chocolata. I've heard some good things. I believe Samantha Ravindal, that's one of her recommendations. And I just haven't been able to spend $40 on a lip gloss stick. So my fantasy self is doing it for me. And next up is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Matte Bronzer. This is a new release. And I am tempted. I'm tempted by this bronzer. I'm not going to buy it, but I have heard that the fair shade is quite light, which is something I, as a ghost... Oh my god, did you hear that? Did you hear the sound my body just made? Anyways, I've heard it's very light, which is like the number one thing I look for in a bronzer, so it's definitely something that I would want to try if money was not an object. And then there were a few Natasha Denona things I wanted to throw in. Now, none of these is like exorbitantly pricey, but they add up. The Mini Retro palette, some more cooler rosy tones. I mean, retro, I'm Twiggy. I'm wearing a Twiggy eye look today. I should be using the retro palette. The I Need a Nude lipstick from Natasha Denona. I've heard good things about this formula, and I didn't look too hard into picking a shade. I went with Beatrice. Just off the bat, I would have looked harder and examined many swatches if I was actually going to buy this lipstick, but it seemed like more of a cool toned nude, so that was good. And the Natasha Denona Duo Glow in Rayo. It's sort of like a highlighter blush hybrid that I've been eyeing. I've never been that close to actually buying it because Lord knows I don't need any more blushes, but it looks very pretty. And Angelica Nyqvist always recommends those. She loves a glowy blush. I love a glowy blush. It had to go on the list. Now after this, my cart started getting a lot more difficult to fill up. Once I hit like $500 or $600, I started running out of things I wanted to put in. I was very alarmed by this, and what I discovered is I just don't buy most of my makeup from Sephora. I mean, most of it probably, but right now I pretty well have most things that I would desire from Sephora. I have a very large makeup collection, which is why I'm on a no-buy, but most things I do already have from Sephora that are released currently. I mean, I still managed to fill up $500 worth of stuff. No problemo. But I was very surprised at how I wasn't inspired to just add things to my cart. I thought I was gonna have to cut back a lot. Anyways, the next things I decided to throw in were a couple of fragrances, because fragrances are quite pricey. Thought they would add to my cart. I have the Atelier Cologne Pomelo Paradis Cologne Absolu Pure Perfume. And the Viktor & Rolf Flower Bomb Dew Eau de Parfum. And these are just lovely fragrances. I would never buy that Atelier Cologne full-size one. It's $185. I'm much more likely to actually purchase the Viktor & Rolf because you can get a 1 ounce for $100, which seems fine. Because I don't think I need an absolutely full-size, like, yes, that'd be 30 mils. You can buy 30 mils for $100. The Atelier Cologne, you can't buy a smaller size, so you have to buy 100 mils, and it's $185. And I just don't really see myself needing 100 mils worth of perfume. Of one perfume? I don't know. Anyways, the next thing I tossed in was a Marc Jacobs eyeshadow palette. I've heard some good things about that palette. Those palettes, they're kind of pricey. Figured I'd throw one in. I went with the iconic multi-finish, I went with the shade colorway Frivolux. It's cool toned, it has a purple. I thought it was right up my alley. And it is $65 for 7 eyeshadows. So, threw that one in there. And then again, I was struggling. I didn't know what to put in, so I went over to the Nars section. What is one thing I really enjoy? A glossy, high-treated lip. I've heard good things about those Afterglow Lip Balms, so I threw one in. I chose the shade Orgasm. These are $37. Not cheaper than the Marc Jacobs. Ooh, let's compare. Okay, Afterglow, you get 3 grams. Marc Jacobs, oh, for God's sakes, they don't have grams. Okay. Ooh, okay. Afterglow, you get 0.1 ounces. Marc Jacobs Mocha Chocolate, you get 0.074 ounces for $1 extra. So, now I've never compared these formulas, but price-wise, the Nars is a better value. And then I thought, what is absolutely beautiful? What don't I have in my cart? I don't have a highlighter. So I threw in a Nars highlighter in the shade Capri, because I recently discovered that that might actually be the best shade for me. I always thought Fort de France was the lightest shade, but I do think it's Capri. And Capri is a little bit more pinky toned. So I think that would be a good one for me. And then I was getting close to my maximum. I had about $15, $17 left, so I threw in a mini mascara. I put in the Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara, just in the mini size. Now this is $18.50, so I did go over my budget by $1.50, but I figure if I have $1,000 of free money, I could chip in $1.50. So that was my fantasy cart. I don't know. This was an interesting experiment. I was really surprised that it took me so long to fill up $1,000 at Sephora. But I think that's good. I think that definitely means that I'm content with my makeup collection to an extent, of course. Do you agree with anything I've put in my cart? Do you disagree? Have you tried any of these? Are they good? Are they crap? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell to become a Pavlovian dog. See you next time. Bye.